Thank you. Is everyone enjoying the keynote so far? Oh, okay. All right, good. It was a rough start, but we got there. That was good. My name is Gerard Dwan, Director of Customer Engagement at Attivio. I want to start with a number in this session, a number. The number is 62. Any guesses on what 62 is? I'm cheating. It's 62 billion, actually, when it comes to customer service. So unfortunately, per year, there is a $62 billion loss for companies because of poor customer service. This is obviously a major problem because as companies are starting to refine, the products are becoming better. What is a true differentiator from one company to the other is how we engage with our customers. So the reason why, that would explain why CEOs are actually driving customer strategy as a top initiative for this year and the subsequent years. As you can see, just quickly from a corporate goals perspective, there are several points on improving customer experience, whether it's better self-service, reducing the amount of customer effort to use a product, or to find answers for specific problems that they have. Thankfully, there is an opportunity here where providing more contextual and relevant information actually reduces the amount of effort needed by either the customer or the mean time to resolution for specific issues that are in place. The number here is basically a decrease in that time frame for a solution of between 20 and 80%. I do want to point out that the improved contextual knowledge is not only the article that is a top result of a search, could also be connecting you with the right expert at the time, right? It's not necessarily something that is already written. It could be something that needs to be written, right? Thankfully, intelligent answers and insights basically are going to enable an improved customer satisfaction, basically by empowering the customers and the service agents with timely, relevant information at every interaction. So not just when there's an issue, but potentially when there could be an issue. Attivio basically delivers this by providing three things. One is the unified knowledge of the unified information across the knowledge bases as well as who those customers are. So this is the classic needing to destroy the information silos, right? We need to make sure that the information is homogeneous across all of the different sources, particularly around making sure that we have the FAQs, the solutions to problems alongside the individual's customer information. Next, we need to make sure that we're incorporating that information at every step of the support workflow. This needs to be when somebody starts to type in a question to open up a support ticket. This needs to be something that the agent can get to as soon as a customer is calling based on the history of what this customer has been asking for. All of this needs to be part of the support process, the customer service process. Lastly, AI, right? That's what everyone's very excited about. We need to make sure that we're AI-driven in resolving these issues. Basically, when we submit an answer or a specific question is asked, whether or not the question is answered properly needs to be tracked so that we can improve what the next answer is for that customer and for the customers at large. What I'm basically showing you now is the before picture of one of our customers. So this is the before, where unfortunately there are many different data sources which these answers can be. One of them obviously knowledge base, FAQs, engineering documents, so it could be CAD drawings and parts catalogs. When we talk about heavy manufacturing, it's a very deep engineering problem typically, and so you need to have access to all the information, whether it was part of the R&D process of pretty heavy machinery, or if it's diagnostic reports from an engine that came in 3 weeks ago. The problem is inherent in that all of these product lines have different variations of what they use for their knowledge bases, for their FAQs. On top of that, and we've been talking a lot about taxonomy this week, on top of that, there isn't a single taxonomy that covers all of the product lines, right? You'll often find very rigid and methodical metadata being applied to a specific product line, but that doesn't mean all of the product lines in a very large organization have that. Lastly, whenever somebody asks an agent a question, they spend 80% of their time looking for the answer. And it's because it's really, one, it's not in one place. Two, it's a very deep expertise that you need in order to service these products. And it often is one of those things where you provide the answer based on the information that you were able to derive, but that may not be the actual answer. It may be a churn process with your customer. So the first answer isn't right. Okay, now I have to go back and do hours of research again before I can provide the very next answer. We call this, and I'm sure you've heard it, it's chair swivel time, right? You're asking your colleagues, you're switching between screens. There's a lot of going back and forth on what the answer can be. Now for the after picture. Okay. So the after is really being able to provide an answer to a very specific question. I don't know what a 6250R is, but I'm sure it's important. And the question here is, how do I fix my hydraulic oil filter? In this specific situation, the answer isn't an excerpt from a document. The answer isn't a single document. It's about unifying the information across three very different types of content, including doing text extraction, right? We need to ensure that we're getting at and enriching this information as part of the process and bringing the information together. So you can see there's a technical manual that is part of the solution, as well as Parts Advisor, which is basically one of their parts catalogs, on top of diagnostics that were run on not only this hydraulic filter in general and the 6250R, but also what other people with the same product have been using to drive that forward. So what have the diagnostics been like for this part in general? On top of, I like that, yeah, on top of providing that information in a timely and relevant manner, we also need to grab any relevant information that is coming in as part of that process. So is this top answer, is this combination of resources the answer to your question? And we need to continue to collect that information so that we can basically provide that adaptive learning-based relevance and collaboration. So I heard chuckles here, this is good. Keep calm, this is not a democracy. Essentially, this isn't a voting-based system. Clicking on the fifth result of a search isn't going to make it the first result the next time you run that search, right? It's about collecting all of the information possible to gather and improve your relevance. It really is about understanding why that document was relevant, not that it was relevant for a specific search. On top of that, I mentioned collect all of the information. There could be hundreds, thousands, millions of signals, depending on the types of questions that were asked, depending on the types of answers that were being applied, depending on who the customer was, that need to be put into consideration. Again, this isn't about a single person being able to do this job, right? We're talking about going in and really determining what is most meaningful for all of the customers all at once. In addition to that, we want to make sure that we're constantly moving and changing. that same example where there have been specific diagnostics for a specific engine part. What if all of your customers are on a 10-year-old system now? What is relevant in 10 years is not what's relevant in the first 5 months, right? So it's important to understand what the maintenance is and what potential problems can come up as part of that overall process, and really alter and change what is relevant to them based on where they are in that life cycle. Finally, and I touched on this already, the document itself is not the answer. It may be a convenient way of thinking about things, but when we're talking about relevancy and really providing intelligent answers, it's not a matter of making sure that we have a good list of documents. It's really about finding the answer for our customer. So that's really the number one driving force when it comes to relevancy. So for customer service specifically, we were talking about kind of 3 main areas, and the first one is the most important in our opinion, right? We need to make sure that our customers have a mechanism of finding their own answers, which will effectively improve our deflection rates, right? So that's number one. The second is we want to make sure that we're connecting the people that need to know, the people that know the answers with the people that need to know the answers, therefore improving our mean time to resolution. And especially when we talk about very complex systems, we want to be able to recommend content. Therefore, we're seizing opportunities in terms of what our customers can use and what they're going to need to use going forward, basically increasing the upsell revenue for that specifically. So when we think of customer service as a very broad solution set and the types of benefits that a company can have as part of increasing their customer satisfaction, these are basically the 3 areas that we think about. That being said, I really appreciate your time this morning. I'm the guy right before the break, so I'll give you a couple extra minutes. But if you have any other questions, please visit our website. The link here, info@attivio.com, is a great resource so that you can ask any questions you may have, and we can set you up with somebody with those answers.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.